Tour de France destroyer, Giro d'Italia thief, Strava KOM hunter, and the only man in the peloton who climbs a 12% gradient smiling like he just saw a golden retriever puppy. If mountain stages were a video game, he'd be playing on God mode. But then, something happens. He reaches the summit, he crests the mountain, the crowd roars, the camera zooms, and what does our Slovenian superhero do? He starts descending like a guy who's just been told his brakes might be loose. The confidence, gone. The straight lines, optional. The composure, somewhere in the Italian Alps, probably trying to catch up. Because for all his brilliance going up, Tadej Pogačar's biggest weakness, in our opinion, is going down. Yes folks, gravity is free, but Tadej Pogačar treats it like a suspicious offer from a sketchy energy drink sponsor. He zigzags, he overthinks, he often gets dropped, and the best part, he knows it. In a 2022 El Quackig interview, he admitted, quote, "I'm not the best descender, I prefer climbing. I don't take too many risks downhill." This is the story of how a rider who shatters time gaps on the uphill suddenly transforms into a cautious alpine tourist on the descent. Downhill is not just downhill. Turns out it's not just falling, it's an art form. You think descending would be easy, right? After all, it's just sitting on your $15,000 bike and letting gravity do its thing. Wrong. Descending in pro cycling is an elite skill. It requires supreme bike handling, risk-taking instinct, laser-sharp cornering lines, a willingness to flirt with death on every bend, and this is where Tadej hesitates. Where Jonas Vingegaard will throw himself into a downhill with the enthusiasm of a kid on a slip and slide, Tadej tends to take the scenic route. You know the line most pros use, the inside apex? Tadej Pogačar seems to prefer whatever line feels good emotionally, often drifting wide, adjusting mid-corner, or feathering the brakes as if he's trying to talk his way out of a ticket. Compare this with Matej Mohoric, a fellow Slovenian and arguably the best descender in the peloton, who once said, quote, "To descend fast, you need to trust your tyres, your body, and switch off the part of your brain that says no." Tadej still listens to that part of his brain, loudly. Let's be clear, he's not bad at descending, he's just not great. He lacks the killer instinct that some of his rivals, like Vingegaard or Roglic, use to put real pressure on descents. He descends like someone who would rather wait for the next climb to do the damage. And in many races that actually works, but not always. Which stages will break him? This year's Tour de France isn't just a festival of altitude, it's also a descent-heavy, trap, designed by someone who must really want drama this year. Here are the key stages that could haunt Tadej. Stage 14 to Le Lirion. This is Massif Central. 4 categorized climbs, a winding fast descent off the Pas del Perol, and one of those, quote, "you better descend like a psychopath" finishes. Mohoric and Vingegaard territory kind of thing. Stage 17 to Superdevoloi. It looks climb heavy, but the final descent from Col de Noia is technical and narrow. It could be prime ground for a sneak attack from Jonas or one of the other riders. Stage 20, from Nice to Col de la Collelle. That descent off of the Col de Torini before the final climb, hairpins tied to the Vingegaard's TT suit. This stage has the perfect recipe for chaos, a pre-climb descent under pressure in the second to last day of the tour. If Tadej doesn't trust his tyres, he is going to be staring at Jonas's rear derailleur the whole way there. The finale, Montmartre Madness. Let's not forget the new Paris Montmartre Sage. A punchy cobbled climb followed by, guess what, a tight technical descent back towards the Champs Élysées. If he's leading GC, this could be where someone takes 20 seconds from him just by riding downhill like a maniac. In short, 2025 is not a good year to descend gently, and if you think UAE is cool with this, just wait till section 4. He likes to freestyle. If most pros descend like maths equations, Pogačar descends like interpretive jazz. Just watch him. He doesn't follow the apex, he improvises. Sometimes he leans in hard, other times he sort of meanders. He taps his brakes frequently, adjusts his weight mid-turn, and even bobs slightly like he's thinking about something else. In the 2021 Tour, on stage 8 to Le Grand Boranand, he crested the final climb solo and lost time on the descent to Wout van Aert, who descended like he was trying to escape a bear. Same with 2023 Lombardia. Pogačar won it, yes, but on the descents, he looked conservative. You could practically hear the disc brakes whimpering. You know what, guys, that's fine. He's probably avoiding injury, after all. He's crashed before badly. He knows a wrong move at 85 k's an hour could cost him his whole season. But cycling isn't about what's safe, it's about what's fast and efficient. Descending is one of the only places where someone like Vingegaard, Calder, Sharper, Riskier can hurt Pogačar without even pedalling. How Team UAE tries to patch the problem. Let's be honest, UAE team Emirates knows this is an issue. You can almost see it in their race strategy. Whenever there's a descent-heavy stage, they tend to put McNulty or Yates ahead as human anchors in case Pogačar slips off pace. Use Masja as a buffer behind to protect him from being caught. Sometimes they'll slow down the whole team to make sure he doesn't get isolated. It's like having bodyguards but for downhill anxiety. In fact, UAE's DS Mauro Gianetti admitted in a 2023 interview, Tadej is not the fastest on descents, but we adapt the strategy. His strengths far outweigh this. Yes, they adapt, but that doesn't mean it's ideal. One rogue Roglic attack on a descent could shatter the entire race. Yeah, especially when rivals know it's his soft spot. And don't forget, on a descent you can't get time back easily. Once you're dropped, you're dropped. There's no drafting back up the hill. So UAE babysits him, that's fine, but what happens when he's alone, with 3Ks of curving alpine madness ahead? Will this cost him the Tour? Let's be clear, Pogačar is still the favourite to win the Tour, but if he loses it, it might not be on the climbs, it might be on the descents of Col de Torini, or the Pas de Peyrol, or one of those twisty roads near Montmartre, where a second of hesitation equals a 15-second gap. Because the problem isn't that he's slow, the problem is that his rivals are reckless. Jonas Vingegaard? Surgical, cold-blooded, trains descents like their TTs. Remco Evenepoel crashes a lot, but attacks descents like a crazy man. Roglic defends like a ski jumper, which he literally used to be, by the way. And Pogačar, he takes the safe line, he always has. This might be smart for career longevity, but in the Tour de France you don't get trophies for staying safe. You get trophies for being first. And downhill, he might not be. The next time you watch Pogačar dancing up a mountain with 7 minutes on everyone, just wait. The real drama starts once he goes over the top. Because while Tadej Pogačar climbs like a god, he does descend like a mortal, and gravity has no mercy. Moral of the story, so next time you're watching the Tour and you see Tadej easing into a descent like he's double checking his insurance policy, remember this. He's not weak, he's not scared, he is just preferring to defy gravity rather than submitting to it. But in a sport where races are won on razor edges and rain-slicked corners, that little hesitation, it might just be the chink in the armour. Even gods fear the downhill, and that is why Tadej Pogačar's biggest weakness is descending climbs. Subscribe to my channel if you're new here to stay up to date with all of the latest cycling news, cycling drama and results. Leave a like on today's video, and don't forget to tune in for the next series tomorrow.